You're listening to New Talk on WNSR, New School Radio.
Former New York City Mayor Ed Koch is still going strong, and at 86 years of age, he is showing no signs of slowing down. In his career, which spans more than 40 years, Mr. Koch has worked his way up the political ladder, from being a district leader to city council member, United States congressman, and mayor of New York City. As of late, he has been focused on righting the political wrongs of society by starting New York Uprising, a group he formed that advocates for government reform. It was truly an honor and privilege to interview Mr. Koch about his career, current political pursuits, as well as his legacy. I would like to welcome Ed Koch to WNSR, New School Radio.
With all of the dysfunction and mistrust going on in politics, why are you still interested in the field?
Why am I interested in government?
Yes, why are you still interested at this point in your career? Many people would understand if you said, I want to retire and have nothing to do with politics, but you still seem to be interested and involved. Why is that?
Well, firstly, I'm not retired. Even though I'm in my 87th year, I am a partner in a law firm, Brian Cave. I come in 5 days a week, and I'm here a minimum of 8 hours a day. I have a radio show. I have a television show. But more important than that, my whole professional life was directed at being involved in government. I was a city council member. I was a Congress member. I was mayor for 12 years. I got my start by defeating Carmine DeSapio, who's an extremely powerful Democratic district leader, when I defeated him in the 60s, early 60s. So I have never lost my involvement, and I was very involved in the election of President Obama. You may recall that he asked me to go to Florida and to speak to Jewish groups, and I did. Prior to my support of President Obama, I crossed party lines and I supported George Bush, who asked me to go to Florida and speak to Jewish groups on his behalf, and I did. And I don't regret that I did either. I did what I thought was in the best interest of the country.
You recently spearheaded and founded New York Uprising, advocating for government reform. How would you rate the success and traction of the organization?
We've had enormous success. We started in 2010, in March of that year. Nobody thought that we would have any success at all. No good government group in the last 100 years has had any success in New York on changing the way redistricting takes place every 10 years. But what we did in a very short period of time and on a shoestring in terms of dollar expenditure was to get a majority of the members of both the Assembly and the State Senate to commit themselves in writing supporting independent, impartial redistricting.
Now, one of the controversial supports that you have made recently has been for Bob Turner in the race to succeed former Congressman Anthony Weiner. Why?
What was controversial? I don't know about that. What?
Well, a lot of people say that the issue of Israel being should not be the sole litmus test for decision-making in a congressional race. And you've been very outspoken.
The thing is that I didn't say that it should be. If you read my statement, it says that I believe that the Obama vision is different than the vision that many people have as it relates to the Mideast and the Israel-Palestinian problem. He wants to change the relationship between the United States so as to make it more acceptable to the Muslims, even at the expense of Israel, which I summed up by saying he is willing to throw Israel under the bus. But I said that's not the only issue. I said the domestic issues are very important as it relates to the Republican Party. They want to end the current policy as it relates to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, which are now entitlements, and in effect, with respect to Social Security and Medicare, privatize them, and with respect to Medicaid, turn it into a block grant. And I said, what we should be doing, those who are supportive of Israel and those who are supportive of keeping these different, very important protections as entitlements, we should send two messages. One to President Obama on Israel, and one to the Republican leadership on the three issues of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. So anyone who says that I'm a one-issue person doesn't know me.
No, that's fair enough. You have a long, distinguished career in New York City and beyond, and I'm sure a lot of people respect you for that. To that point, you have recently been bestowed the honor of having a bridge named after you, the Queensboro Bridge. Have you given any thought to your legacy and how you would like to be remembered for your years of service?
Sure. I think there are four things that my legacy, which flows from my having been the mayor of New York City for 12 years. There are four areas that I'm quite proud of that people recognize as important. One is, as Senator Moynihan said, I gave people back their morale here in New York City. And that was very important because when I came in, people were leaving New York City. You had lost 1 million people. Now we're back to the 8 million or more. And it was because we had lost our morale and felt that we had a certain shame in having allowed New York City to be dragged down by its leaders over the years, going back to Wagner, Lindsay, Beam, where they spent money that the city didn't have, and they brought us to the edge of bankruptcy. So that's number one, that I gave the city back its morale. Number two is that I balanced the budget, which had not been balanced for 15 years and nobody thought could be balanced. I balanced it. That's number two. Number three is more physical, and you can see it. I rebuilt New York City, primarily the Bronx, where the abandoned buildings were. There are no abandoned buildings anymore. They've all been rehabilitated or demolished, and in their place, in the city of New York, we created 250,000 housing units for low and moderate income people, and all paid for by the issuance of city general obligation bonds. No other city in America did that, hasn't done it to date. Mayor Bloomberg is continuing that, hoping to create at least another 200,000 units before he ends his term in the same kind of program. And then the fourth thing would be that I reorganized the judicial system in New York City. Unlike any place else in the country that I know of, the mayor of New York City appoints judges. He appoints the criminal court judges and the family court judges. And before me, they were basically political appointments operated by the county leaders. I changed the whole system so that they were all merit appointments where a blue ribbon committee was established, half appointed by the appellate division judges here in New York City, and half by me to go out and look for candidates, and then they would decide who the candidates should be for each position, having the obligation to provide me with three selections for each vacancy, and then I would interview those three and pick one of those three, as opposed to picking my own candidate from at large. And it changed the whole system, and even more important than the selection was the assurance that I would reappoint at the end of a 10-year term those judges that the committee said should be reappointed, even if I didn't agree with them. And B, I would not reappoint any judge that the committee said should not be reappointed. And the purpose of that was to convey to judges that even though I was an activist mayor and would on occasion condemn their decisions, that they should not be deterred because my criticism would in no way affect their being reappointed if the committee thought what they had done was right.
When you look back on your career, do you have any regrets?
Well, of course, we all believe we could do better with respect to other things that we've done.
Is there anything in particular that you can pinpoint?
Yeah, I can tell you where I would make a different decision today. So when you say regrets, it's not really the right word. Could it have been done better is the better way of putting it, because we can always do better. But one of the things that I did that I would not do if I were to relive the event, I would not have closed Sydenham Hospital, although everybody today who is in the field of hospitals says it was the right thing to do, and it was definitely the right thing to do. The hospital was providing inadequate medical care. It was very costly, more than Bellevue, and providing terrible service per patient. I'm talking about cost. But what I didn't take into consideration was the impact on the psyche of the black community that loved that hospital, not because of the care, but because it was the first hospital to take black doctors in when many of the other hospitals in the city would not accept a black doctor. And I didn't take that into consideration, the enormous impact that hospital had on the history of Harlem and the black community. So if I had to do it over, I wouldn't have closed it.
You're listening to WNSR New School Radio. This is Roy Paul.